One of my favourite brands out of the UK is a brand of ladies' sandals called FitFlop.
Right.
I know the founder, and I know that when she created the sandal, it was created from her Bliss Health Studios, and she needed a sandal. So she created this sandal, and little did she know that she'd created a wobbling sandal. And this wobbling sandal micro moved your glute and actually tightened your glutes up. And a lot of women were going back saying, this is just, I've got a really tightened glutes now from wearing our sandal.
Wow.
And it was a mistake.
Okay.
Because it was a wobbly...
It's a wobbly shoe. So
and she called it a wobble board.
How serendipitous.
It's brilliant. For years, I used to go, why didn't I, after working in footwear, never think of turning the word flip-flop into fit-flop?
Yeah.
It's a genius. Oh, I've missed that. I could have done that years ago. Now, their biggest market outside of the UK was the Philippines.
Right.
Still is.
Okay.
And they sell an awful lot of pairs in the Philippines. And they didn't change their price. They went out the same expensive. And you went, how have you managed to get this level of sandal sold into a consumer group that actually has less disposable income?
Yeah.
But they got into the fitness, that women buying things that had an output, which was this wobbling is going to give me a better figure.
Yes.
And when I first asked the distributor why they were selling that much, and he said the consumers aren't buying one pair, they're buying multiple pairs. They're waiting for the next drop. And they're having parties around the drop. So when the new item comes in, women who are all part of a same friend group would all get together for the next release of the product.
Like a frenzy or something.
It was almost, you weren't selling the shoe after that, you were selling the community of people who were buying this sandal. Now that's interesting because it doesn't automatically, it's not automatically part of the brief. You don't go out to do that. But because of its function, because of what the shoe did, the sandal, it created a community, and that community then waited and waited, and they were happy to buy at a price which, when you translated it back into a Filipino currency, it was expensive, like buying a new phone, and but they were prepared to do that.
I think it's no longer a pair of shoes now.
Oh no, it's not. It's you're part of a.
It's your badge of honor or something.
It's something that you're wearing that is, and there's a lot of things. I mean, UGG Australia was another one. I sold UGG, the brand, the Deckers brand, so it's Californian-owned brand. Whilst the UGG here is synonymous with Australian culture. I was selling that on my honeymoon.
Right.
Not much to my wife's chagrin. We had a local honeymoon because I was working, and we just went around the south of England.
Right.
And I would show this boot to some retailers. What do you think? And they'd go, oh, it's ugly.
Yeah.
It's horrible. What is it? It's a sheepskin boot. When would I wear that? And the tipping point on that was a picture of Pamela Anderson wearing a pair, sloppy Joe type of oversized track pants on, UGG boots, child in one arm, Starbucks in the other, and fending off the paparazzi. She was getting into a big SUV. And what I never really understood at that point was that she, as an icon, was saying to a lot of young women out there, I can do this. I can work, I can look great, I can have a child, I can be famous. And what I didn't realize is that it was building up a massive amount of stock. So 13, 14-year-old young women who were girls and women who were looking at this, they were going, when I can, I'm going to buy a pair of them. And they couldn't really afford them for 3 years.
Well, that was the earliest form of influencer,
that's
right?
That's it, earliest form of influencer.
Yes.
And that demand was coming like a tidal wave. You just had to manage production, you just had to manage logistics, and you had to manage finance. And UGG now is still 2 SKUs. In fact, it's not even 2 SKUs of it. It's really only 1 SKU, which is the short boot, because they don't do the long boot. Yeah. It's still 1 SKU.
The other one we can talk about is Birkenstocks, right? That seems to just never go away.
Never.
It seems to come around every once a decade.
Yeah.
You know, it goes to become an ugly shoe. All of a sudden, a fad shoe. Now it's hot again. It's cold again. Yeah. It just sticks around.
It does. And interestingly, with Birkenstock, and Crocs is the same.
Yeah.
Mother and daughter will wear them. Now that's a golden product. So if the daughter at 13, 14, 15 will wear Birkenstocks, and mum at 40, 45, 50 wears Birkenstocks, you've got 2 customers. That's unheard of. That doesn't really work. Birkenstocks have that. Same design.
And I guess it brings nostalgia as well.
Yes.
As you age through the years, and you go, "Oh, I wore that with my mum."
Yep.
You know,
absolutely. So it comes back.
It comes back again. It just
Dr. Martens.
I used to love Dr. Martens.
Docs.
I used to love
18-hole docs.
I was one of the first generations of Australians that wore Dr. Martens when they first came over from the UK, right? And the bloody yellow stitching.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted that silly yellow stitching.
Yeah.
You know, and it was something to be desired. You know, it was just.
And that was delivered by a punk, cultural, aggressive, angry teen mob in the 70s who wore the boots almost ironically. So they wore them in a sort of an ironic way, and again that sort of influenced a level which we didn't see coming. I didn't. I all invested in different things back in the day, but they were, and it's still there.
Yeah.
My daughter, Docs, Birkenstocks, Converse, they're brands that just keep on churning.
Yeah.
Now, will they die? Maybe they will in the future. Maybe they won't. But getting that nirvana of design, desirability, delivery, and not tinkering too much, allowing it to just be what it is. And not allowing, not somebody coming and saying, I'm going to change it completely. That's fascinating to me.